Hi, I'm Mike King, Editor-in-Chief of the Diamondback. I'm here with Dan O'Gallen, Terps football beat writer, and Aaron Kasnitz, Terps football columnist. Daniel attended an event in Baltimore tonight, the unveiling of the Terps Maryland Pride 2.0 uniforms. It was full of a lot of pomp and circumstance. Daniel, what was it like being at that event?
It was really interesting. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I didn't even really know where it was. It was at the Under Armour brand house in Harbor East. I didn't know what that was, so I showed up and it was outdoors. It was a very interesting event because you're unveiling uniforms. So none of the players were there. Randy Edsel wasn't there, but there were appearances by Torrey Smith, Kevin Anderson, and some people from Under Armour. And I think that while much is made of the aesthetic and just how it looks, there's a lot of really interesting things about what went into the uniforms, like 200 hand-painted helmets where each one is different and individually numbered, a new fabric called Armor Grid that apparently you can't grab on the field. So there was just a lot going into it, and it was cool, it was exciting, and I liked the end product. As a uniform nerd, I liked how it looked.
Great. Back to the game, the Terps play West Virginia at Baltimore this weekend. How important is that matchup for the Terps, Daniel?
It's very important. It's the opportunity to go to 4-0, which they haven't been since 2001, like they were 3-0. It's their opportunity to equal their win total from last year at the end of the first month of the season, which not a lot of people were expecting. And in the end, it's a marquee win. West Virginia might not be the West Virginia of old with Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, all the points that went up all the time, but they're still West Virginia. They've won 7 straight against the Terps, and their name still has some cash in the college football world. So I feel like the win against UConn was nice. People took notice, but if you beat West Virginia in Baltimore in front on a big stage, people are definitely going to start taking notice.
Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think the game in Baltimore, it's a recruiting base. I think there's a lot of talent there. And I think if Maryland can go there and get a win, the kids in Baltimore will really like the school. And I think they could build a really nice recruiting base there. And also, not just other people will notice, but I think the Terps themselves, if they get a win against West Virginia, that'll build some confidence. And they'll feel really good about themselves going into a bye week and then a big matchup with Florida State after that, if they can pull out a W.
Aaron, what do you see as the keys to this game?
Well, a lot has been made about the injuries to the cornerbacks. Jeremiah Johnson, who's a returning starter, has a toe injury and he's out for about 6 to 7 more weeks. Dexter McDougal, also a returning starter, had a shoulder injury, had surgery this past week, and he's done for the season, and his college career here at Maryland is unfortunately over. So I think really the key is going to be the young guys stepping up for them. Will Likely is a true freshman stepping into a starting role. And even beyond that, West Virginia likes to spread out a lot of receivers, so guys that really don't play very often, Jarrett Ross, Alvin Hill, they're going to get chances to be on the field, and they're going to have to step up.
Daniel?
Playing off of that, I think the pass rush, the defensive line, the outside linebackers can play a huge role as well, because if Marcus Whitfield, Yannick Kudrow-Virgil, who rank in the top 2 in the nation in sacks, if they can get after Ford Childress, the West Virginia quarterback, Alvin Hill, Jarrett Ross, they might not see as many balls thrown their way if the passes don't get out.
Daniel, what are your predictions for this matchup?
Before the season started, looking at the schedule, not really knowing what we were going to see out of the Maryland offense and defense, I picked West Virginia to win this matchup, but I think these first 3 weeks have swayed me a little bit. I think we're going to be in for a shootout, weather permitting. It's supposed to rain, but on that big stage, ESPNU, M&T Bank Stadium, I'm picking Maryland 38-35.
Aaron?
I think this game's kind of a push, and when there's a push, I like to go with quarterbacks. And I think Maryland has the edge there. They have an experienced guy in C.J. Brown, who's their leader, a fourth-year player. And on West Virginia's side, they have a redshirt freshman who they're trusting. And, he seems like he's a good player, but he doesn't have that experience. So I think it'll be a really tight game, and in the end, I would go with the experienced, talented quarterback. So I think Maryland wins it 31-27.
All right. Aaron, Daniel, thanks for joining me. You can check back next week for more videos from the Diamondback Sports Desk at diamondbackonline.com.